Hey, Steve Kroll with Granular here. I'm back with another video. For those who aren't familiar with us, Granular, we're a digital advertising firm based here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And today I'm doing a video around something I just had this idea about, which is, is it worth bidding on a competitor's brand terms? This is something that definitely has come up a lot over the years, and I thought it'd be really helpful if I lined up some examples here for you. And just to touch on kind of what I'm looking to accomplish in this video, um, I just really want to share some specific examples I see. It's going to be a little loose format, and then I have kind of three different ways I've laid out some different paths that you can take. Um, where it makes sense, some of the benefits of using the strategy of bidding on a competitor's brand terms, the downsides, my opinion on it, and then some closing thoughts. I definitely want to hear what you think about this. So I'm going to go ahead and uh, share. Go ahead and share the examples I have uh, pulled up, so that way I can jump right in. So the first example I have here is for the search term a Mailchimp alternative. So Mailchimp is an email sending platform, newsletter. They're really the market leader, and they stood out to me because I saw just a really aggressive level of a competitor bidding on their terms. You've got Omnisend here, try us instead, more features, less prices. You've got this Mailjet, try Mailjet, avoid the spam folder. So they're calling out uh, something which maybe is a concern for someone, or maybe they're not really thinking about that with Mailchimp. Avoid the spam folder. You've got the Send in Blue. We're the number one alternative. Mailer Lite is talking about, hey, free $0 per month, talking through some of the benefits. Um, there is another example as well, which I did want to call out at the bottom of the search results page, which I thought was kind of bold. So you have this email octopus. They are saying, ditch your chip, stop overpaying for email. It's interesting because there are rules within Google Ads ecosystem where if you're the owner of trademark terms, you can actually flag competitors who are bidding your terms. It's actually an automated system. You submit those trademark terms, and Google will automatically flag those and either just disapprove those altogether or do something where they'll approve it in a limited state due to trademark text being used. The way that email octopus is getting around this is by just saying chimp. That's a common word, and but obviously Mailchimp can't come after them for this. But I'm assuming what they're seeing here is they're getting attention, and actually it's helping with click-through rates. So I'm going to run through a bunch of these examples, give some stream of consciousness thoughts, and then get into more specifics of ways that you can approach this. So the next example I have here is for the search Pardot CRM. So that is a marketing automation platform. It's owned by Salesforce. You're seeing here they do show up for their own brand terms, owning that first position here. Of course, they're going to be relevant for it, but they are forced to bid on their brand terms because there's a lot of competition. You have, let me see who stands out here. So the one that I think is just really audacious is Freshworks here. Best Pardot alternative in the headline and calling it out in the description. I am not entirely sure how that didn't get flagged. I'm going to explain at the end of this video some different paths to take. And one of those paths, can be bidding on competitors' actual terms and using the term in your ads. That's usually a really big no. So maybe there's an understanding there, or I don't think um, Salesforce owns Freshworks, so maybe they could just say this is a case of dynamic keyword insertion being used, where maybe they're saying they have uh, dynamic, the DKI in the responsive search ad where it's best in that its input. Actually, no, I think they're just intentionally bidding on Pardot and using Pardot in their ads. So I'm trying to give them the benefit there. So um, if you are running Google ads for Freshworks, or if you're Freshworks themselves, um, sorry, if I wasn't going to catch this, this is going to get found out soon enough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show an example here from now. The third example is from Saatva Mattress Company. Again, this is someone who's searching for Saatva mattress coupon. This is really bottom of the funnel. Someone who's really looking to buy, and they aren't even one of the top 4 ads. I mean, that just shows how aggressive this space is. Anyone who's had to compete in the mattress in a box space with digital ads, you're going to see some of the most sophisticated advertisers in performance marketing, across Google, Facebook, native. They're going to come out of, a lot of them will come out of the mattress in a box space, and you're going to see why here, because you've got, for all intents and purposes, Saatva should be showing up number one. They are serving up multiple results in shopping, but I mean, you've got Dream Cloud Sleep showing up, Nectar Sleep, Naturepedic, before they start to show up. These guys are calling out that their mattress is, about $600 less, forever warranty. Um, you've got this Nectar Sleep saying Black Friday prices run through 2022. So they're using things as an anchor. They're establishing a new anchor for an expectation for a user, where someone, going to Saatva, they, they are calling out $500 off. But you've got Nectar Sleep is kind of changing the what users should care about. That's their goal here, anyways. And I would imagine, based on their pretty aggressive bid that they're setting, their budgets, um, and how this converts through, it probably is working decent for them. Dream Cloud Sleep, uh, uh, it you know what? I have to think about this. I wonder if this is one of those websites where it's a comparison website and they're an affiliate, or if this is an actual. Oh no, so it is a competitor. This is something I'm going to talk about and approach here, and I guess while I'm here, I'll just talk about it. It is really smart if you are going to compete. You know, you can't use the brand term, you real brand terms in the ad itself, but it's fair game once you get to the land, is what DreamCloud has done here. And if you really want to improve the effectiveness of this strategy, again, they're using all the things you want to do. They've got a sense of urgency here with a countdown timer. You've got a really relevant headline that incorporates that keyword. You have one of these little comparison charts, the marketing comparison chart, where you your brand, you line up all the things that they're going to do better than the competitor here, but they're using their keyword, they're calling things out. I was going to say, if they uh, really were nailing it, they would have testimonials for people had a Saatva and then decided to transition. So, it actually does make sense. I mean, man, these guys are going for it here. What are you getting with Saatva? And then they're saying, hey, here's why you should use us instead. To me, it makes sense why this dream is serving number one, because they have a very deliberate strategy that they're employing. I want to make sure I get to our other example as well, that we can come back to what we've seen there. All right. The fourth example is the search was Mailshake, price an email sending platform, uh, kind of a lighter weight version of an outreach or a sales loft or something like that for one-to-one emails. They're showing up here, Mailshake pricing. They've got their brand term here, and they've got a really strong headline, really strong ad, site link showing up. But I mean, man, you've got Mail Stand, $12 a month, number one alternative to Mailshake. Um, yeah, they're not a verified advertiser. I wonder, if I'm Mailshake, I make sure that my terms are, uh, oh, they're not a verified advertiser yet. Um, but I would just make sure that I verified my account and then submitted my trademark terms, and then that should stop this. Although my Pardot example I show that isn't necessarily uh, a silver bullet to make sure that happens. But again, Mailstand is calling out their pricing number one alternative. Who knows if that's true? I mean, they could be using, if they're saying they're number one and it's because of Forrester Research or G2 Crowd or Capterra or one of these third-party websites, maybe, or according to Google reviews. It's whatever they want to choose to use, and as long as you're number one in some area, you can make that sort of claim. So, or you're number one with a specific segment. Anyways, I want to keep going here. Um, Send in Blue, Simple, Reliable, Unlimited. I don't know if there's any issues that Mailshake has in terms of a cap and how many emails it can send, and that's why Send in Blue is calling out Unlimited. But that could make sense. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into my fifth example here. Sales Loft. So again, the search here, Sales Loft reviews, and Sales Loft does not show up here. You've got Gong.io, kind of making a pretty bold claim here. Switch to the leader, number one rated in sales intelligence. The team at Gong is very good. They're really, a buddy of mine, Mark, he works in marketing, works alongside Jason there, marketing um, uh, at Metadata, and I'll see him comment and like stuff from Gong's team, and I think they even recognize some of the work they're doing. So these guys are really good and sophisticated when it comes to their digital marketing. So it makes sense that they would have this nailed down. So I'm assuming they've got some good social proof if I click through here to make this claim. All right, I wonder if there's some sort of comparison chart here when I come down to show why they're number one. Yeah, so they've got uh, Industry experts choose Gong, uh, uh, some social proof. Um, I think to probably improve, they could even have one of those little charts where they're in the top right, showing why they're the number one solution, or even better, like in the other examples I've showed, them versus a Sales Loft comparison chart. But to go back to the search results page, you've got them calling out that they're the leader. Um, these two, businesssoftware.com and top 10, I recognize those as, review sites that I believe are affiliates and make a commission. So a big part of their strategy is bidding on the full funnel for these sorts of keywords and trying to generate leads and sell those to companies like Gong and Sales Loft. Let's see at the bottom, the search results, Capterra, similar story with those guys. So let's go ahead and move on to my sixth example, HelloSign. All right, they're now Dropbox. You've got DocuSign free electronic signature, sign online for free. Calling out here that free to sign, where HelloSign is a 30-day trial. So I believe the expectation would be you're going to end up having to pay at some point, or maybe DocuSign is implying that you can have a free tier. Although looking here, it looks like they just have a free trial as well. So I don't know how effective this is as a approach. Sign now, alternative e-signatures. Um, something they're doing here is they're bringing in this reviews extension. So these other two providers, HelloSign included, aren't doing that. So, 30% lower price than competitors. They're calling that out. Say no to hidden fees, 24/7 support. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good ad if you're going to go the route of bidding on a competitor's keywords. All right, seventh example got here. Blue Apron. search here is Blue Apron coupon, and Blue Apron does show up, but then you've got Marley Spoon, HelloFresh, uh, you've got Black Friday sale, $180 off. I'm going to assume there's probably been a back and forth price war here. I'm not as familiar with the space with these competitors. So you've got Martha Stewart's meal kit, $177 off. Blue Apron, $180 off. Marley Spoon does have Martha Stewart, and they've got the image extension as well. Blue Apron, got to use that image extension. That helps because you've got HelloFresh and um, Marley Spoon doing this, and they're probably stacking the deck doing this through their search campaign, having the image extension as well as a PMAX campaign, if I had to guess. HelloFresh, 21 free mails. That's the big. If that's what stands out as a differentiator here, how they're trying to compare. You get 21 free meals. You're not seeing that here with Blue Apron. So again, they're not using the brand terms for Blue Apron. Neither is Marley Spoon. Similar to the other examples I shared, this is just a affiliate site from what I could tell. And then Home Chef here, bottom, they do not use Blue Apron's terms. They say 6 oven ready options per week, more than any other leading meal kit. All right, to the 8th example I have here, Wantable. They are a clothing subscription company and jewelry. Uh, Men and women. They're based here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I wanted to call them out. You see they're obviously showing up here. They're doing a great job. You've got Daily Look showing up. Now they don't use anything here. They don't use any of Wantable's terms. Call them out specifically. Rent the Runway. They're calling out the 30% off our 8-item plan promo code, but not doing anything to try and position themselves against Wantable. Now, this company, this short story box, I think this is really clever. So they're just really leaning into 4 women, 5 feet, 4 inches and under, #1 subscription for short gals. That puts a feature in play. I have to guess this is a really effective strategy for this team. I don't know anyone at this company. I don't know who does their advertising, but I think this is really smart where they're not using price, they're not using a bill, how fast something gets there or how long they've been around. They're saying, hey, we think this is our angle, and we want to capture this subset of this market and maybe try and steal market share from more established competitors like a Wantable, Stitch Fix, Trunk Club. I'll come back to them. I think that's smart. It's a smart approach to take. All right, going to the bottom. Transcend. All right, so I'm not seeing any of them. Let's go to my last example I have here, which is Uber. Search drive for Uber. And what do you know? You got Lyft here showing up #1. This is a bit of a duopoly, so I'm sure if I do the search for drive for Lyft, Uber's going to show up. But they're calling out, they're serving as the #1 ad. Lyft is, not Uber. Drive with Lyft, earn $1,700 in the first 30 days. They're really leading with some numbers here. Give 160 rides in your first 30 days and earn at least $1,700. So they're making claims. They do call it terms apply because they're making that sort of claim. And they're not using Uber here anywhere in their ad copy, but they do have a site link. Why drive with Lyft? You do have Uber defending themselves here, trying to protect their brand terms, but Lyft, I think, is probably having success here. I'm curious. I'm going to click this and see what their landing page looks like. Make $1,700 guaranteed in the Milwaukee area. All right, so again, some of the most sophisticated digital marketers, advertisers working. They work in. They've spent time in these kind of sharing economy type companies. Your DoorDashes, your Grubhubs, your Lyfts. So that's unsurprised me that they've got a really strong landing page. I know this looks pretty simple. I think this is really smart because it's tying in the headline of they talked about make 1700 guaranteed, and they're bringing in my location, repeating the when you give 160 rides for 30 days, and they are just saying give us your phone number. We're not asking for the world. I could see why their ad is showing up first here compared to Uber. Probably converts really well, and it probably has a much better ad relevance, and therefore quality score than they otherwise would bidding on a competitor's terms. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. So, how to approach bidding on competitors? I have something put together here that kind of gives some of my thoughts here on how to approach this. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over. I'll share this. All right. So there's a couple different approaches you can take. I've spoken. I've spoken. I spoke to these. So the first is highlighting your benefits. So if you're going to employ the strategy, a route you could take is highlighting your benefits. So own the characteristics about your company that are unique. The examples I talked about with the uh, short story box, with Lyft, with some of the other people who will position themselves compared to the competition. Um, yeah, I think that's really a clever route to go. Um, you don't run the risk of your ad getting shut down because you're not bidding uh, on your competitor's trademark terms. Um, Clicks are going to be more expensive because you're not the actual company that they're looking for. It might be difficult too to get repeatable, sustainable traffic. You have to have a real long-term mindset or work with someone like Granular. That's a plug for us that can help you hit the ground running and pick these things out and know how to not throw good money after bad. Um, uh, Also, if you don't do something similar to that Dream Cloud Sleep company, where they had a really robust landing page comparing them to Saatva, it's going to be hard to make the economics of it work out. All right, so what's a second approach you could take here? So referencing the brand competitor indirectly. So that was like the example I'd showed, which I believe it was for that Mail Octopus company for Mailchimp, where they use the word chimp in the ad. It can draw the attention of the user, can increase click through rates. Um, as long as you steer clear of the brand not being an own trademark, you're probably fine to do it. Um, I don't know. Is it worth the squeeze to get clever with the ad? I mean, if that's your only trick you have to use the, play on words, uh, I think you really have to have it be cohesive. But, that'd be a con I look at. All right. And then uh, option three, reference the brand directly. Short term, you're probably going to get a higher click through rate. Frankly, though, I think there's just a lot more downside going this route. Your ad's likely to be approved limited automatically due to not owning the trademark or having permission. Um, this video is part of a post I have on Granular where I reference some different resources. One of those will be this article from Google that talks about trademark terms. Um, the the biggest another downside is the owner of the trademark terms can force the ad to be shut down. I think I even go into more detail, like beyond that, is it really worth the trouble it's going to cause using someone else's brand terms? Like it is going to create a headache. And from my experience, like, there's a lot of egos that get involved, a lot of money gets wasted, a lot of unnecessary stress costs. So you really have to weigh. And in some cases, if you have a repeated behavior of doing this, it could lead to legal action. All right. So when does it makes sense to bid on competitors' brand terms. I have some stuff lined up here. So if there are some well-established a leader or leaders in a space, and you have a unique benefit, a unique way that you can position yourself, and you can get meaningful traffic conversions, I'd say it makes sense to do it. Um, I would say it also makes sense if you have that cohesive strategy. You really understand your numbers starting at the budget level, your bid strategy. You feel really confident about that. Your conversion tracking. You have good ad copy. It's tied into your landing page. You have a really optimized conversion path. Then I think it makes sense to bid on a competitor's brand terms. Um, and if you want to get more precise information about your competitors, um, how much search volume is out there for the brand terms, uh, as well as getting a sense of what other people are bidding on your competitors, I would say you should do this if you've seen someone in your space really heavy up on programmatic advertising, out of home, TV advertising, have invested really heavy in branding exercise, and you're just curious what kind of lift comes from really investing in your brand. Then, if you're curious and you're looking at it to get some actual empirical data rather than sample data from the keyword planner or Google Trends, which people don't use that tool properly, but then I think it makes sense. All right, what's the case against it? Uh, making the numbers work out can be tough. You're paying more money for the clicks. You're gonna have difficulty getting impression share. It's gonna limit your volume. Your conversion rates are gonna be lower, and you're gonna put a lot of time and money into it. If you don't really have a lot of experience doing this, you're gonna have challenges. And the more commoditized the space you're competing in, where there's a lot more advertisers going, it is going to be really difficult to make the numbers work because you're dealing with people who are private equity backed, venture backed, people who really know their numbers well, and you really need to make sure you understand that. You can lose a lot of money quick. Uh, Best case, the gamesmanship of competition only slightly annoys your competitors. Worst case, now you're on the radar. They're going to make your life difficult. They're going to bid on your brand super aggressively. They're going to bid on all your terms that you go after, and it's going to raise everyone else's cost. You can run into legal issues. Is the risk worth it? Um, there's a really valid case against it. And I would say the last thing too, the case against it takes time away from uh, building your own brand through mid to top funnel strategies. Bidding on competitors' terms, bidding on the really low funnel stuff, like that's a bread and butter. Yeah, that's great, but the most valuable thing you can invest in, you know, outside of treat your customers well, provide a good service, make sure that you follow through on what you say you're going to do, um, have a well-reviewed product, is to make sure that you invest in your brand because over time that's going to be the highest ROI. It's going to improve your click through rates. You want people going to Google and typing in your brand and finding you more and more, not just people who are going to Google and typing in non-branded terms. All right. So what's my uh, opinion here? So and I can go ahead and stop sharing my screen. So my opinion is if you want to take a path where you're working with someone like us, or you feel really good about the team that you have that you're working with, or you've really studied a competitor and you want to go for it, uh, either approach it one of two ways. Approach it from a standpoint of we want to bid on our competitors just to get a sense of how much traffic is out there from an education standpoint, how much traffic, what are baseline costs, these other things. If you really want to go the path of bidding on competitor terms, um, you really have to lean into it and do things similar to the examples I called out in my in this walkthrough that stood out to me. Um, all right. So, in closing, um, what's your experience with this? I'm really curious to have for what you have to say. I want to have you leave comments, send me a message. Through different platforms I'm on. You can email me at my granular account, Steve at granularmarketing.com. I want to know what you think and your approach. Um, but yeah, again, we're at 30 minutes here. Time flew by because this is a lot of fun. Um, Hopefully, you found this interesting. Again, a little more unstructured than I typically like to do, but uh, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I really thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you like this type of content, like, comment, share, give me encouragement, and I will make more of it. If you don't like it, um, I'll be able to look at the data and it'll show low engagement. People aren't into it. Or if you just tell me you're not into it, I want to hear that and figure out how to make better content in the future. Thanks so much. And until next time.